So I love this question. So one of my favorite movies is The Truman Show. And
Mm-hmm.
The
Yeah.
Truman Show, one time when Laura Linney's like holding up the Folgers, it's like product placement. And Truman is like, what are you doing, right? Because the whole thing's kind of this scam. So I love speaking, and pre-pandemic, I would fly around frequently speaking. So I was flying across the country, and I bought this book called The Rooster Bar by John Grisham. It's a good book, like John Grisham. This was the story of the book. It was a law school that would get law students to take out a lot of debt, and they wouldn't have jobs for them when they finished. So it was basically a scam law school. It's a good book. I feel dental school is moving towards that for these reasons. The cost of dental school has tripled since I've graduated, and no one can tell me what they're adding to the experience. And in fact, I think they're subtracting it. So if we use this basketball, and I graduated and every dentist from the beginning of time, my dad included, said, graduate from dental school, you'll figure more out later, get your degree, figure more out later. But my dad's generation of dentists, they would teach better fundamentals. General dentistry is about fillings, crowns, simple extractions, treatment planning. One of the big problems is, I believe, and every team before the pandemic would get this, if you have 10 people working for you and you buy one pizza for the party, 2 people aren't going to get a piece, and probably 3 because the first person's going to take 2, right? So the most simple way of putting it to you, Gary, is they are taking more students than they have the clinical experience to train those students in. And then they shuffle them through and they say, you'll figure it out later. And it's very sad and very scammy because figuring out in the real world of dentisting is impossible. You can build on your skills, but I don't believe they're teaching the fundamental skills for dentists to survive and thrive. I hire associates. I actually require GPR AGD. So I believe that students are unfortunately under a misconception that the skills that they've learned in dental school, not all, but too many, will help them survive and thrive. The cost itself, I'm not an economist, but the fact that it's 3 times as expensive and the government is pretty much funding all of this. If I had a friend that would let me charge unlimited amounts for CE, I guess I would charge unlimited. You could take out a CE loan for Nacho Flicks, and I kept raising the price. I would say, okay, pay it back later. So I believe that the cost, and I also believe that dentist authenticity, I'm a JBN type guy, just be nice, which means like, don't yell at people if they do a PFM crown and you do a zirconia one, but JBR is just be real. Running a dental practice is very intense. There's a tremendous amount of stress that comes with it. That is healthy stress, healthy intensity, and also toxic intensity. So what would be great is if dental schools were more authentic about what it feels to work like in the real world of dentistry, so they get applicants that really want that. We have companies, both of us, and not people have worked for us and said, this is not the pace for me. This is not the intensity. But all they do is stop working for us and move on. They might do. One of my OG marketing people, she moved on to this awesome fashion brand, which is what she wanted to do. I think she gets paid to wear outfits. I'm happy for her, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And how do you compete with that, right? Like, how do you compete with that? Is it like,
but she didn't go to Dental Nachos University for $500,000 to get this job and then figure out, oh man, work around Paul is quite intense. And I don't know if I want to deal with dentists.